Episode 29 of Outlander Cast is brought to you by the Tag You're It Etsy shop. From Outlander-inspired necklaces and rings to custom designs for birthdays or any occasion, every piece is created by Dawn, one letter at a time, and is one of a kind. Please take the time to visit Dawn at www.tagyourit.biz. That's B-I-Z. Tell her Mary and Blake sent you and use the coupon code OutlanderCast15 for 15% off your purchase. As always, tag your mama, tag your pet, tag you're it, whatever it is.
People disappear all the time. Most are found. Eventually. Disappearances, after all, have explanations. Usually.
Welcome to Outlander Cast with Mary and Blake. It's a podcast dedicated to the show Outlander on Stars.
Sing me a song of a lass that is gone, save of that lass behind. Mary of soul, she sailed on a day over the sea to
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Outlander Cast. I am your host, Mary Larson.
My name's Blake, and I'm so freaking tired.
Tired of what?
I'm tired. I'm tired of not sleeping. I'm tired of having a newborn.
You're already tired.
I'm tired.
Oh, man.
I may be done. I don't know. I'm not sure. We'll
Maybe
have to
what?
see. With the newborn. I'm ready for toddler phase.
We can't return her, so.
No refund policy on that
No.
one. No, between the newborn and actual, my day job, and then we have some really cool stuff going on our other podcast for the leftovers called The Living Reminders. We actually had this Emmy series with the main actors who are eligible for Emmys on that show. It was a lot of work. 3 very intense, very time-consuming interviews, all within 1 week. It was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun too. So I'm tired, man, and that's the reason why we got so postponed on this episode.
Hopefully you guys forgive us. We do have a newborn who was born, of course, on the finale night. So
Hi-yo.
of course she is #Outlander baby. I am totally in love with Felicity. For those of you who didn't know, we have a little baby Felicity. Snow is her middle name, and we are in love, absolutely in love. So. Thank you for your patience and for all of your wonderful feedback. It's been great to read it. And Blake and I are very excited, very, very excited to dive back into Outlander and especially this beautiful finale. So without further ado, we are going to jump into the listener feedback for To Ransom a Man's Soul.
So the first one comes from Chris from Paris. Now, I imagine that's Paris, France. Can you believe that we actually have listeners from Paris, France?
Yes, oui.
Hey, now. He says, in the eye of the Roman Catholic Church, adultery is a sin. And I think this is in reference to the question on the last episode that I asked, which was, has Claire actually committed a sin? Did she actually do something within the eyes of the church and Brother Anselm that would suggest that she is indeed a sinner? He says, it's not a capital sin, but it's a sin nonetheless. Claire did commit bigamy and by consequence adultery by default and enjoyed every second of it. She broke her first wedding vows. The scene in Gaelic was a great and necessary decision by the production team. Don't forget that Gaelic is Jamie's first language. People who grew up in bilingual or who speak a language at home, which is different from the one that's spoken in society, which is the outside world, tend to naturally switch to their mother tongue when they have suffered a trauma or dealing with sensitive, extreme emotional feelings.
I think my accent comes out more when I'm tired.
Or stressed out.
Or stressed out, you're right. Or if I'm mad.
My accent comes out when I'm drinking.
Oh, yours does.
If I'm drinking, literally, you cannot understand a single word that I say.
If you're not from the New England area, you will not understand Blake. People actually say he's from Ireland. Not from Paris, though. Chris, very, very interesting. So I'm not Roman Catholic.
Well, technically I am, I suppose.
No, you're not.
Well, technically I am. I'm not a practicing Catholic.
You do not. No, you were baptized.
I was baptized
and you
Catholic.
went to Roman Catholic schools.
I did that, and I got confirmed.
Okay.
So technically I'm Catholic, but I don't know. But I was raised Catholic. Can I say that? I was raised Catholic. Okay, there you go.
That's what you were.
And ultimately, my question is, did she really commit a sin?
Well, it's so tough because, okay, adultery is adultery. It's very black and white.
But
except there's time travel, and Frank doesn't exist right now.
Yeah, so would that make her vows null and void?
I don't know.
Like, let's say for the sake of argument, that we're married, obviously.
Obviously.
But let's say I die.
Yes.
I no longer exist.
Yes.
Does that mean you can move forward?
I don't know because I'm not Roman Catholic. I mean, I'm just saying in the Roman Catholic Church. I would assume so because I know Catholics who've remarried after death.
Yeah, I know. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if Frank does not exist, if he doesn't exist, that's what we're basing this on. Mm-hmm. I don't think she sinned.
Okay.
Because he doesn't exist. And she should be able to move on. However, there is one small little bit here.
What?
She had the opportunity to go back to Frank.
Boom.
And she didn't do it.
Boom.
That may be the difference.
Oh my gosh. Could you imagine if Frank ever found out? No. Like if there was ever a note left.
Somehow, some way.
Do you like how I'm just making up these theories, pretending that I don't know anything?
No, but ultimately, like, imagine, like, you thought that scene at the bar was bad when he was using the blackjack to beat down some lady and the dude.
Like, imagine if he goes home to the Reverend to go read a book and he sees a picture of Claire making out with some guy in like a history book. Yeah. Wearing 2 wedding rings.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So Chris, it's an interesting point you bring up. Neither Blake nor I are practicing Roman Catholic, so we don't really know too much about their stance on time travel.
I'm just saying logically, it would make sense that she did not sin because he doesn't exist anymore.
I get your point.
Yeah.
I get your point.
Okay, see, well, yeah, but now we're saying that there's logic in the Roman Catholic Church.
Listen, there's a gray area.
And they have to meet together, and usually that doesn't happen.
There's a gray area called time travel. We just don't know. We received a beautiful email from Gina P. She said, as a non-book reader, I see no way that Claire could ever return to Frank after the finale. Because how could she look at his face again and not immediately see Blackjack Randall staring back, knowing and living through some of the many atrocities he's perpetrated.
There you go.
There we go. I'm not a good reader. I'm whatever. I have a newborn. Knowing many of the atrocities, I'm glad I got that word, he's perpetrated in 18th century Scotland. Sorry, Blake. See you later, Frank. I mean, that kind of rhymes. Sorry, Blake. See you later, Frank. Boom.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think
Blake and Frank kind of rhyme.
Okay, whatever.
Anyway, so Gina just said, and Gina brings up a good point. Blackjack Randall looks so much like Frank.
Yeah, could you do it? Could you look past Blackjack Randall and still see Frank in the same light?
No.
No, you couldn't do it?
Well, here's the good thing. Claire didn't have to watch the last 2 episodes, so she just got to hear things from Jamie. Maybe she could a little bit. I mean, she did have to live through the stuff that he did while she was there.
Yep.
Ugh, I don't know.
I think it would be hard, at least for me as a viewer.
It's going to be hard. Yeah.
Let's put it this way. As me as a viewer, right?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be hard for me to see Frank the same way. And I am totally Team Frank. You know that.
I was just going to say it's going to be hard for me to see Tobias in
anything else ever again.
If I ever see him in like a tender, imagine if he was in a lighthearted like comedy movie. I love, what is those romantic comedies? Yeah. If he was in one of those, I'd be like, don't trust him. It's BJR. It's BJR. He's going to pour out that wine.
Person.
He's going to pour the wine out. This is not a date.
We must protect the claret.
On Twitter, Stit1991 thought that Sam was beyond great. but was disappointed. She felt, he or she, whoever Stit is, I can't tell gender by Stit, felt like too much was left out of this episode. Hot Springs, hoping to see that, but still a fan. So, you non-book readers, there was this beautiful portion of Hot Springs where, Jamie got healed, and that's where Claire told him that she was pregnant. It was beautifully written. It's very romantic. It's very like, God, I wish I had Hot Springs nearby and I had good news to tell.
Let me ask you this. Did they get physical at the Hot Springs?
They get physical every time they're together. I'll tell you that. The book does not lack any physical stuff. Yeah, they got physical, and they made the decision for them not to get physical in the show for obvious reasons.
Yeah, I think if they went physical together...
They didn't need to be physical in the Hot Springs, but there were no the Hot Springs were in a different country in the book.
And they were hot enough.
Hot. They're hot in here. I
don't know. I still feel like if they had the Hot Springs, which is fine, let's just say that they did it, but if they had them be physical shortly thereafter, all the stuff that happened with Blackjack Randall, it would be hard for me as a viewer to accept.
Yeah.
Because Jamie is not in a mental place within the TV show now.
Well, that's it. In the TV show, things moved very quickly time-wise. And in the book, there was a lot more time. They traveled a lot while all this happened. So I'm glad that they did it the way that they did, because I agree. If they tried to squeeze in all that stuff, it would have felt really awkward.
Yeah.
Or they could have had a 4-hour finale. I don't know.
No, well, I don't think a 4-hour finale would do it.
It would do it just fine, in my opinion.
But the 2-hour finale, I feel like you could probably fit in the Hot Springs.
Yes.
If you had the 2...
You don't even know what the Hot Springs were.
Well, just based off of what we're talking about here, I got an idea that, they got jiggy with it.
It's not about the getting jiggy with it. It's the healing of the emotions.
Oh, okay.
And the learning of the new life that is coming.
You want to do the first voicemail?
Sure.
Hi, Mary and Blake. This is Barb, your history friend from Michigan.
Hey, Bob.
First, I want to say congratulations on the birth of your beautiful baby daughter, Felicity.
Facility, I'll take that too.
Happy for all of you. On the episode last night and on the whole series, I'm giving everything 5 kilts. 5 kilts all the way.
Woohoo!
And I can't say enough praise and gratitude to the team that Ron Moore and Meryl Davis assembled, the choices that they have made throughout the show. Particularly this last episode, I have to say, as intense and honest and shocking as it was, as a book reader, I've thought very hard about the ending and how it differs from the book. And what I want to say is, I believe that they chose to finish their story for this season in a way that was true to the series. Yes, it wasn't the book ending necessarily, but they stayed true to the choices they have made all the way through the series, and I applaud them for it, and it's wonderful. Thanks again so much for everything that you do, Marianne Blake, and enjoy your new baby. Bye.
Well, Bob, you're welcome, and I will say one thing. You brought up Meryl Davis, which is really great because later on during this Droughtlander, although I've also heard it called With Outlander, too.
Oh, I like that one.
We will be having Meryl Davis on, and for those of you who don't know, she is the executive producer of this show, and it will be happening during Droughtlander or With Outlander. You like the With Outlander better?
I just think it's really witty.
It is kind of witty.
I mean, Droughtlander was very witty as well, but I already used it so many times that I kind of like mixing it up right now.
And then, Bob, also, you brought up the idea of staying true to the series. And again, this is a great distinction because there are those who are readers who just literally want a translation of the book into the show. And you can't have that. Obviously, we've seen that so far play out within this one context of this season. So it's great to make the distinction, and I'm glad that you accept it as the show in the way that it already exists.
Hi, Mary and Blake. This is Keelan calling from North Shore of Boston.
Boston girl.
I want to say hearty congratulations to you and your family on your new baby girl, Felicity. That's wonderful news, and so impressed that you guys are still squeezing in Outlander through all of this exciting times for yourselves. Okay, comments real quick on the finale of Outlander. I can't believe it's over. I'm already suffering withdrawal and still trying to just decompress and digest what we've just seen. It was horrific. It was scary. It was sad. It was intense. And it was simply brilliant. It was so incredibly well done and so brave. All of the actors, Sam Heughan and Tobias Menzies, they simply outdid themselves, if that was even possible. I hope they all get Emmys. I want to thank the whole incredible crew with Ron and Terry. It was just incredible. And Blake, you called it. It was going to be kind of a intense torture scene with Blackjack Randall on top of Sam. It was just intense. A couple of insights. I love the cow stampede. I can't believe how incredibly well done that was. It was wonderful that they could coordinate all those moving parts literally, and I can't believe they pulled it off. It was just what I had envisioned in my head from reading the books. There was one part I really missed the line as he was decompressing with Claire at the end and trying to talk over what had happened to him. He started to finally come around when she was kind of talking about his soul and rebuilding a roof back over his soul when all of the walls had crumbled down. I thought that was a really special, deep nugget that could have been used, and I'm hopeful. I think I've seen some stuff online where Diana said that it could be easily input into season 2, so I'm hopeful that that will come back there because I definitely missed it. Also, at the end on the beach, when she's saying goodbye to everybody, Angus and Rupert definitely needed to spark up some levity and bring some humor back into it, but I thought the whole Angus kiss was a bit overdone. It was a bit too much. It kind of jolted me out of my kind of awe of what had just happened and was hoping to get a little bit more humor, but not, I don't know, it was just not good for me. It was a little too gross. Whatever. I'm also wondering, I have to ask you guys, if you listen to Ron's comments in the end of each episode, I find them very helpful and very insightful, especially if I'm having trouble with what they've cut out or what they've added or how they did it. They confirmed that the ship that they used was indeed real, and it was a helicopter shot, and then they did a couple of passes. Oh my God, I can't believe they got the ship in there. That was just totally, totally incredible.
So I love the idea of talking about this building the roof over his soul. Is that something that you expected, Mary, when all this was started to go down?
You mean when I was reading the book or when I was watching
when you were watching the show? Like, is that something that you latched on to in the book and you really wanted in the show?
I don't know. I was just so overwhelmed in this part of the book and this part of the show.
So, I mean, aside from these little things like the hot springs and the building the roof over my soul to protect it again, do you feel they did that whole concept justice within the show?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah.
I think so too. I think.
I do.
I mean, it was a little rushed, like we've already talked about. They could have afforded a little bit more time, but within the construct that they had, I think they did a relatively good job. So, but also, you know what, girl? I gotta say, I have to ring the bell.
Bam! Just like that, a winner.
Because I was right that it was going to be extraordinarily intense scenes between Jamie and Blackjack, and God, I'm really good at these outlandish theories of the week.
I'm proud of you.
Can you believe how good I am at these?
I can. That's why I married you.
Hi, Mary and Blake. Teddy Potter. Congratulations on Felicity's safe arrival and your new, larger family. Happy. Okay, episode 116, To Ransom a Man's Soul, in 1 hour. Had all that was needed, all that could fit, and I just felt it was so beautifully crafted. The performances were outstanding. The difficult scenes were meaningful and never gratuitous to me. I want to mention Murtaugh. He was the underrated second hero after Claire. His actions, his words, his scene with Jamie, spoken only in Gaelic, was so gripping and moving. I want to mention something that I haven't seen previously in any of the social media comments thus far, and that's that Jamie's healing was evident to me in a forward sentence when he was on the boat with Claire. At the end, Claire says, "It will all be all right." Jamie's response is, "I'll see to it." I just love that. 5 kilts, 5 high 5 superlative kilts. I loved it. Bye, guys, and thanks, and keep us happy during Droughtlander. Bye-bye.
You know, that's Jamie being Jamie, just being Mr. Positive, you know? I'm going to take this really crummy thing that happened, and I'm going to be okay.
Yeah, you know what? The way I interpret it was Jamie knew that he had to get better, and he was going to do whatever it took for Claire. And I don't think that he's better. I think he thinks, all right, I'm ready to move forward, and I will make sure that I will get better. I'm going to force it if I need to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't see that as him already being taken care of. I don't see him already being healed. I just see that as a mission statement. I'm going to be healed no matter what. And I'm mentally strong enough where I will force it. You know what I mean?
I do. And that's Jamie. You know, he's very stubborn, and he knows I'm going to really work towards getting better, not just for me, but for Claire and for this baby.
On the website forum, we have a comment from Jean Darnell. She says, Diana captures many facets of a woman in loving someone because come hell to high water, only a woman would venture into hell or dark for their loved one. Women are healers, nurturers, lovers, and more naturally. Hence the true meaning of a feminist. On a side note, however, I'm humming the Humpty Dumpty right now because Claire sure did and will have to put Jamie back together again.
Oh, yes.
Jean, listen.
Humpty Dumpty.
Listen.
How do you hum Humpty Dumpty?
This is America. Everyone's got their opinion, but you're wrong.
Oh my God.
You're wrong. I'll tell you why you're wrong. Because it's not just only a woman would venture into hell or dark for their loved one. That's just not true. It's not true at all. You saw that play out with Jamie.
Jamie did break into Wentworth.
Jamie broke into
not Wentworth.
Fort William.
Sorry, Fort, yes.
Yeah, whatever it is. And then,
William, yes.
And then he, in order to make sure that Claire got away at Wentworth, he says to Blackjack Randall, "All right, bro, do what you got to do."
Jamie went to hell.
Jamie went to hell for Claire.
Yep.
He did it.
Yes.
And personally speaking, I'm a man, and I would go to hell for my wife.
Oh, thank you.
It's the truth.
Thanks.
It's the total truth. So, girlfriend, Jean, you're wrong. I'm sorry.
Jean, I want to know if the Humpty Dumpty song has a theme. I want to hum it too. On Twitter, we had Phyllis Aiklin, who is known as @LoveHawaii40, and they said, notice how he calls her Sassenach again when he finds out she is pregnant.
Yeah, that was so great.
Yep.
Because it's his little pet name for her. And that, to me, more than I'll see to it, is a sign of him being on track of being better, because he always took the time throughout the entire season to put a little levity into any situation, you know.
Yeah.
Chickens make poor company. You remember that line?
That was such a good line. God, I loved that Jamie. That free care. I love any Jamie, but just, I hang out with horses. I call this girl Sassenach. I love it.
And then he also talks about how he thought he'd be the one who was throwing up over the side of the boat, and it was in fact she that was doing it. Again, trying to put levity into the situation. That, to me, is Jamie Fraser.
Yeah.
Not the Lally Brock, look at me. I'm
wearing my dad's coat. Look at me, guys. I'm wearing my dad's coat. Did you notice my dad's coat? Because I'm wearing it. That's right. That's my dad's coat.
That's my dad's coat. Love my dad's coat. So that, to me, is James Fraser. And I think that is really indicative of him being on the right track.
Hi, this is Deborah from Massachusetts.
Yeah, another Massachusetts
and first
girl.
of all, I want to say congratulations on the new family member.
Thank you.
And as far as Outlander's finale, I think the acting, once again, was fantastic. Sam Ewan definitely deserves an Emmy. But I must say I was rather upset that there wasn't more balance in the show. I think that the rape and torture scenes were given far too much time. It could have been done in a montage. I think they went into too much graphic detail with all of that. I think as a result they didn't have enough time for Jamie's recovery and redemption, you know, with Claire helping him, bringing him back to life. I just think it was off balance. And I'm hoping that going forward we're going to see more happier times with Jamie and Claire, and even the quiet moments. I think in the course of these last 8 episodes, we just haven't had enough Claire and Jamie time. And I don't know, in seeing the Twitter Q&A with Ron Moore today, it looks like there'll be more Frank in the next season, and I'm kind of concerned if this will eat into the time for Jamie and Claire. Thanks for your time.
You know, we actually had a lot of people, whether it was email or Facebook, agree with you on this, that this last episode in particular was a bit too graphic. One of our friends on email actually said that her husband, who was watching the show tons of times, was enjoying it, watched the first half, watched the second half. He actually said that this was too much, that he is now done with Outlander, and that the male-on-male rape was too much, and it affected him so much that he felt he couldn't touch his wife that evening.
Wow, yeah.
So, you know, it's not just you who felt that this last episode in particular was very graphic and kind of wish that it could be less. I felt like I needed it because I didn't, as I said, as a book reader, I almost skimmed this part of the book because it was hard for me to read. It was, I didn't want it to be happening to Jamie when he was explaining it. So by watching this, it made me watch it. It made me unwaver and say, okay, you need to see Jamie get tortured. You need to understand what happened to this man. You can't just go and have fun on a boat and find out that Claire's pregnant. You need to understand how terribly ruined he was. Mary, I'm telling you, says Ron Moore. So I appreciate your perspective and know that you are not alone. There are a lot of people who feel that way. I don't want to use the word enjoy because I didn't enjoy watching the scenes, but for me, it helped drive home how incredibly terrible this was.
It was the experience, I think. You had the experience of what happened to Jamie at Wentworth. And more importantly, the more that I think about this, and the more that I've had a chance to push away from Wentworth and all that happened in To Ransom a Man's Soul, the more that I think you got it from both perspectives in a way. You got Claire's perspective in a sense by watching Jamie go through this. You are standing on the outside looking in, as Claire did when Jamie was telling her these stories. And you're seeing it from her perspective like, oh my God, there's nothing you could do to stop it. But more importantly, you are getting Jamie's perspective because, in fact, you are right there. And I know it sounds a little contradictory, but you are there. And in order to understand how far Jamie went down this rabbit hole, you needed to see it. You needed to be brave as a viewer. Because as ruined as Jamie is, you, as a viewer, in my eyes, need to be ruined a little bit too.
Oh, God.
Because otherwise you're not going to get that perspective.
Well, I was ruined, and so were many people. And for some, it was too much.
Hi, Mary. Hi, Blake. This is Kathy from New Jersey. And I just got done watching the finale for the second time. I'm glad I watched it a second time because the first time I was extremely disappointed. And now after taking some time to really watch it, I'm going to raise my kilt rating to 4 kilts. The reason I was disappointed is, and I know Diana said we were not going to get the hot springs, but that was a very important part of the book. Being a book reader, I was really looking forward to that, and I did not like the way Claire told Jamie she was pregnant on the boat. It just seemed rushed and not as intimate as the book had it. That being said, the acting again was phenomenal between all three parties, Kate, Sam, and Tobias. But I wish we could have had 2 hours for this finale. We could have really got into, especially more when she was trying to save his soul, and in the book she becomes Black Jack to get Jamie to help fight back. That also seemed a little rushed, but that was probably the most tender part of the whole episode. So overall, I give it 4 kilts, and if Blake is going to have a top 3 of the whole season, I would have to agree with him that number 1 is the Garrison Commander. I would give that 5 kilts on the acting with Tobias alone. The second one would be the wedding, 5 kilts for that one. And my third favorite was Wentworth. I would give that one 5 kilts for the acting between all the parties again. So thanks again, Mary and Blake, for having the fans participate in this podcast. It's like having our own virtual book club. And congratulations again on the birth of your baby daughter. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you so much for the congratulations, and I'd love everybody how everyone is just so awesome with this whole notion of us having this Outlander baby. It feels like we're all having a baby together, kind of.
I'm the only one that had the baby. Let's get this straight, Blake. I pushed a 9-pound baby out in an hour.
In an hour.
I had a really quick labor, guys. I almost had the baby in the car.
That's right.
Not a joke. Blake almost had to be Dr. Blake. Thank God he wasn't.
I was going to be looking on YouTube, trying to figure out, oh my God, what do I do?
How does this work? Push, I think.
Pull?
Push? I don't know.
Anyway. Did you like how she said the Garrison Commander, by the way? That was a New Jersey girl going with a good Boston accent. I appreciated that. The top 3. It's funny that you mentioned that because we will be indeed having another live cast. And in that live cast later on with Outlander, we will be talking about Mary and I's top 5 favorite things from, I think, do you want to do the whole season, darling, or do you want to do just season 1B?
The whole season, obviously, and then I can rewatch it again.
So, yeah, I think we're going to do that, and it might be a good idea.
Hey, guys, it's Aubrey from California. I hope I'm getting this in on time. 1, congratulations on baby Felicity. She's so adorable, and I think I speak for all the listeners when I say thanks for letting us feel so a part of it by keeping us updated and informed during that whole process. It was a lot of fun. Anyways, I don't really know how to rate this episode. I thought it was well made, and that Sam, Tobias, and Kat were amazing. I thought Sam especially had some great pained looks. I loved how the episode opened with Sam and seeing the empty and utterly broken expression on his face. And also how they told the story through flashbacks and not chronologically. I thought that was a really good choice. Although I do feel like maybe they spent just a little bit too long with the flashback scenes because Jamie's recovery and then the end of the episode started to feel a little bit rushed to me. Overall, I really thought it was well made and that they set up the next season really well. The prospect of them in France is really interesting as it will be an entirely new environment and should be a lot of fun. I'm really interested to hear your guys' thoughts, especially you, Blake, seeing as you have the guy's perspective on such an intense subject matter, and how they executed it. And I know last week I mentioned wondering if your thoughts on Frank were changing in terms of him wanting to be with Claire, because of Blackjack's sadistic nature, but I'm even more so interested to hear your thoughts after seeing this episode. Also, I mentioned before, but I'm wondering if actually after seeing the finale, if you felt that it was a satisfying enough end, that if there wasn't a season 2, if you would pick up the books and read the rest, or let this finale conclude the story for you. Anyways, I'm so sad it's over and won't have Mary and Blake to listen to each week, but I'm excited to listen to any upcoming episodes that you put out during this break. So thanks so much. You guys are the best. Bye.
For me, I think the end, if it were to close out the entire run of Outlander, would not be satisfactory. I think it's a very good ending for just season 1, but for the entire story, no, I don't. I don't think it'd be good because you're just left with them going to France, right? Which I think is cool, you know. But this leads into something that you kind of noticed when you've already talked about Aubrey, which was they're going to France. which is really cool. It's a different setting. But some of the things that I've realized over time, especially watching like True Detective or Bloodline or even Lost, the setting of a show is so absolutely vital to how real the show feels. Like if you're watching Bloodline, spoiler alert, it takes place in Key West. It is so cool. You don't ever see a show in Key West, right?
Right.
And you don't ever see a show like True Detective taking place in the bayou. Like, that was so awesome. Or Lost on this island in the middle of nowhere. And Scotland, for me, was that for Outlander.
It was that extra character. I mean, we referred to it as a character in and of itself multiple times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, with that said, I'm not sure how I feel about them going to France. At least in terms of this idea. In terms of it being a unique space.
You're going to miss that character.
I'm going to miss Scotland. I'm going to miss seeing the rolling hills and the big fields of grass. And I'm sure it's probably going to happen with France too or whatever, because they're filming wherever they're filming. But it's going to be hard to have them not be in Scotland anymore.
I'm just going to look away. I'm not going to make eye contact with you, non-book reader.
And as for Frank, I still kind of want her to go back to Frank. As much as I love Jamie, and I'm on the Jamie train. Choo-choo, I'm on the Jamie train.
I'm looking away again.
I kind of want her to go back to Frank.
Well, now she's going to France.
France? Frank? Oh, I don't know.
Oh, maybe that'll be it. Maybe she'll be like, Jamie, France. It's such a close word to Frank.
It sounds like Frank.
All I do is think about Frank. Because we're in France. It's like Franck. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just making things up because I can't look you in the eyes.
I'm still not convinced, by the way, that she is done with Frank. I'm still not convinced.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave it at that.
Okay.
I'm gonna let the ether accept it.
Okay.
Right? That's my saying. I'm gonna let the ether accept this one.
I'm just being a book reader looking at my screen. Not looking at you.
Yeah, but okay, let me ask you this too. Would you like the ending if this was the ending of Outlander?
Forever and ever?
For the series.
I would have... No,
because, well, I mean, obviously you've read the books, but let's just say for the sake of argument that the books didn't exist and you watch this as the ending of Outlander.
I would want them to go back to Lallybroch. I would want Jamie's name to be cleared, and I would want him to put on his dad's coat and go, "Wear my dad's coat."
Get my dad's coat. That'd be the first thing he says.
That's how I'd want it to end.
The last line of Outlander should be, "Got my dad's coat." Boom.
That's it.
No, I think in the end, if this was the ending of the TV series, knowing that the books are out there, I would probably read the books. I think I would read the books at that point. And then you know what we could do? We could podcast about the books. How's that sound?
Well, you said we can't because you're not going to read the books until it's all done. And
but
that's going to be a very long time from now.
This hypothetical situation would be that this would be the ending of the TV series.
Okay, well, it's not.
And it's not.
Stop tempting our poor listeners.
Yeah, I will not read the books, guys. Sorry. Now, I got a comment here from the website, and this is directed towards you, Mary, so I'm going to read it.
Okay.
This one comes from Sarah from California. She says, "Mary, I loved how you handled the situation when Outlander collides with grandparents. Just because of the situational structure of your lives. Blake wanted to hide, but you were so brave to take the step to handle the anatomy and physiology of what took place in that scene to better inform your mom and answer her question." Again, I want to reiterate this point.
Bum sex.
No. It wasn't bum. It was butt sex.
Butt sex.
The phrase butt sex appeared in my living room in front of my father-in-law and me from my mother-in-law on multiple occasions.
And you know what really sucks? Is my dad had just started to watch Outlander.
And he was like excited about it.
And now she gave it away, and B, turned him off because she said butt sex.
Oh, God.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm glad that you think I was brave to step up. Really, I want.
Well, let me finish.
Oh,
she says,
she's not done.
Oh, not done yet. Sarah ain't done yet. Sarah's definitely not done yet. Recuperating from having a 9-pound baby and what your body just went through, and then doing a podcast a few days later, I commend you highly because I've been there and done that. Bravo, Mary. You, my darling, are amazing.
Sarah, thank you. I don't feel amazing. I'm still sitting on a donut. But
she is sitting on a donut with baby in tow.
Yes. It is this is the new life of a new mom.
No, I must say that my wife is Superwoman. She really is Superwoman.
Superwoman covered in spit up
and breast milk.
I'm a picture of beauty right here. Sarah, thank you so much. It was hard, and I'm glad that I was able to explain it. And if anyone runs into that situation where people really don't understand what happened physically, just play them that part of the clip of our podcast episode where I explained to my mom how men can enjoy being with another man physically, because what goes on, basically I explained the prostate.
I literally wanted to crawl into a hole during this point in the podcast last time. I just wanted to go away.
If my mom only knew. And she probably wouldn't even be embarrassed if she knew that I told the whole world.
She'd be like, Mary, oh my God.
No, she'd be like, I still don't get it.
I don't get it, Mary.
It's like health class all over again. I actually got kicked out of health class. This is the one time I ever got kicked out of school. You guys get to know a fun fact. The one time I ever got kicked out, not out of school, out of class. I had to just sit in a chair outside the door, You
didn't have to go see the principal?
No, I was too good. I was a good kid. It was 7th grade. I was a total nerd. I'm like the nerd to the max. I was in health class in 7th grade, and we were looking at anatomy pictures, and I giggled a lot because there was like
penis,
but it was like a cartoon drawing. I don't know why they were handing us out dittos. Like, do we need to learn how to draw this? Like, why am I getting a ditto?
Wait, what's a ditto?
A piece of paper that has like that they photocopy.
Oh,
what do you guys call them?
Well, photocopies.
That's what you called them in school?
Copies?
Photocopies?
I don't think we ever called them a ditto.
Oh my gosh, maybe that's a Rhode Island thing.
You Rhode Island people.
If anyone else called them dittos, please let me know. So we would get all these dittos that would be passed out. That was like the handouts. They called them handouts.
Handouts is a good one. I'll accept handout.
Okay, so they gave us handouts, but it was like drawings of genitalia. And I was like, why do I have this?
That sounds like a good band name, Drawings of Genitalia.
Like, am I supposed to color it in? Like... What is this? I know what it is, but why are you giving me a ditto? Like, what is going on? So I got kicked out for 5 minutes.
Where are the crayons?
Yeah, like, what?
Am I supposed to color it in?
Am I supposed to, like, be creative?
Oh,
like
God.
Picasso? I don't really know.
You are amazing.
Thank you.
You are amazing.
Well, thank you, Sarah.
Good afternoon. This is Nora calling from Seattle, Washington, and I wanted to say that I loved this episode. I thought it was acted so well. And this may be a little off topic, but I was also calling because I found out that the producers have not yet chosen which episodes to submit for the Emmy considerations. And they said that they were going to wait to get audience feedback before choosing. So I was going to ask you guys what episodes you feel they should consider submitting. I personally feel that Garrison Commander, The Devil's Mark, and Wentworth Prison would be good episodes to submit because it shows off a lot of the show's strengths with the acting and the costumes and the sets and all of that. I wouldn't suggest that they choose this finale like many fans think they should, because it may come off a little too intense for Emmy voters who don't know what the show is about. But anyways, I was wondering what you guys would think. Anyways, keep up the good work.
My love, I think they should probably choose Garrison Commander. And Wentworth Prison would be a good one as well. But I think Garrison Commander encompassed all that there was about the first half. I mean, aside from the wedding. But it even covered kind of the wedding in a way. But it covered everything that was Outlander in the Garrison Commander. And you had that great cat and mouse between Blackjack and Claire, right? And one of my favorite scenes in the whole show is when he's drawing her picture and calling her as she's talking and calling her a beautiful liar. That was one of those things that was just, it was so nuanced. You don't expect that from Blackjack Randall. And because of that, that was one of those really good scenes that the show should really populate. Although I think for Emmys, this show has a lot to overcome in that, one, it's a freshman series, as we've already talked about, but two, it is a little bit of a genre show. There is this sci-fi element to it, and as we all know, and the Academy, and especially for the Emmys, they are so freaking boring. We actually talked about this with Allison Keene recently, who we'll have on the show for you very soon for a season 1 wrap-up. The Emmys are so boring most of the time. All they do is just pick the same old crap over and over again, and Outlander has to really overcome that. And I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do that. I don't know. What do you think, my love? Which show do you think, or which episode do you think they should give as for Emmys?
I completely agree. Garrison Commander, 100%.
All right, I like that.
Hey guys, this is Denise from Ohio. First of all, congratulations on your beautiful little girl. I told you she came on a wonderful day, the finale and Harry Potter marathon. What else? Usually by now I've watched the episode several times, but this one I just haven't been able to because it's so intense and I just can't casually watch it and do other things. I feel like I just have to sit there. I will say it's what we described as both hauntingly disturbing and beautifully brilliant at the end. Awesome screenwriting and directing, and the actors were so on point. I just can't even, the intensity of everything. It's going to make for a long break for us to have to wait for season 2, but I'm really looking for some new podcasts from you guys and interviews with some of the directors, or maybe even a showrunner or an author would be pretty awesome. They can make your list. So congratulations again. Thank you for a wonderful first season of Outlander and Outlander cast, and look forward to hearing from you guys. And have a great summer. Bye.
First of all, this one's for you, girlfriend.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Thank you very much for mentioning the fact that it was a Harry Potter marathon during when Felicity was born. We actually took part in it for a little bit when we weren't out watching Outlander on an iPad. But I will say this. It's funny that you mention a certain showrunner, and it's funny that you mention a certain author. I'm not going to say any more. I am not going to elaborate any further. I'm just going to say, wow, that is pretty funny. Who knows?
Blake is doing a Mary, looking at a computer screen, not giving anything away.
You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to pull the ultimate Mary. You ready for this?
Yes.
Interesting.
Oh, good job.
Very, very interesting. That's all I'm going to say.
Hi, Mary and Blake. This is Claire, for sure, from Tequila. I just want to make a few comments on episode 116. I rated a 5 killed. It was horrific to watch, but I thought it was so well done, and thinking about it afterwards, it's revealed so much about Blackjack Randall and what might be motivating him, or just what kind of a sadist, twisted kind of guy is he. I really think he was in love with Jamie, and I found it interesting how he said that he was like, what is it with you and Claire? Something to that effect. And he wanted with Jamie what Jamie had with Claire, I believe. And how, in a way, for all the torture, he actually, when it came to the sex part of it, was almost, in many scenes, not all of them obviously, but he was rather gentle and caring with him. And some of the stuff that wasn't quite as jarring initially just really bothered me, like when he dangled his hair in front of Jamie, like Claire's hair brushing him. I mean, that is so twisted. But it just gave so much insight into him, and I'd love to know what his backstory is. And I'm not a book reader. I don't know if the book gave any of that, but he's fascinating in a very sick way. I'm also kind of wondering if, I'm assuming he's dead because it looked like an adequate amount of blood flowing from his head after he got trampled by the cows. But at one point he stepped towards Jamie like he was going to fulfill his bargain and he was going to kill him, and then he thought better of it. And I'm wondering if Claire had told him this is the day that you die, and he's going like, well, okay, who cares? I'm going to die anyway. I'm going to go after this guy one more time. One thing I really liked about the episode is that it was told in flashback, because the Abbey was so white and light and airy, and it gave the viewer relief from what was going on in Wentworth Prison. And the darkness and the horror that was happening there. It was like heaven and hell contrasted. And I know they did talk about bringing Jamie out of the dark and all that type of stuff. So it was sort of, I guess, a cinematographic way of conveying that. But I thought it was an interesting way to kind of get home what they were doing. And also it gave the viewer a much needed respite from what they were portraying.
I like the idea that you talked about with Blackjack Randall being in love with Jamie. Now, is he really in love? I'm sure there are book readers now where their ears are burning as I say this. You know, I think it could be possible. I think it could be possible in his own sick and twisted way that he loves Jamie. I don't know. What do you think, kid?
Maybe that he thinks he loves Jamie. I don't think Blackjack Randall is capable of love in this kind of a way. So,
but that's why I said in his own sick and twisted way.
I think he loves being in control of Jamie.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
He likes inhabiting Jamie.
Yes.
Okay, I like
likes
that.
Conquering Jamie.
And as for his backstory, that is something that I could totally do. I would love to see his backstory. Although there is a part of me that says, let's let this man be who he is as we see him. And I think that's important. It's kind of like the Joker in The Dark Knight, where he always says, "Do you want to know how I got these scars?" And he always tells a different story. So you never know what actually happened to him. And he is that much more mysterious that way, and that much more intriguing in a lot of ways. So it's kind of good to not see him and where he is. And as for the contrast and the light and the dark and everything, I think that's great too. I loved it. We got an email from Carolyn. She says she totally agrees with us.
Caroline.
Oh, Caroline. Okay, I'll take Caroline. Caroline, why not? She says she totally agrees with us that she thinks in Outlander, the world of the future is set, that it cannot be changed, unlike other films or series where the futures can be changed. For example, let's just call Back to the Future. I think you're right, Caroline. The world is set. I don't see them changing it. I don't see them... Although there is this... you do have the beginning of Outlander with Jamie as the ghost. Now, it's not confirmed that it's Jamie, but for the show purposes, they showed that caricature of him, like that drawing, and it was Jamie's face. So let's just be honest, okay? I wonder if that is some kind of interdimensional Jamie that is looking at Claire, maybe hoping that they didn't change the future.
Ooh.
Because maybe by changing the future, they did more worse. They did more bad. And maybe that's him trying to find a way to be like, no, stop. It's kind of like Interstellar with, spoiler alert, with Matthew McConaughey going back and trying to tell himself, hey, stay. Don't go into space. Just stay home. And I wonder if that's the same thing. I think that'd be really cool. That would be exceptional science fiction storytelling in my eyes. It would go back to the sci-fi base. I think that'd be kind of cool. I'm just throwing that out there. On Twitter, I'm a straight up 2 says, I've always loved the series, but the finale went too far. It ruined their favorite episode, The Wedding. Now, my love, do you really think that this could ruin The Wedding for you?
No. Nothing can ruin The Wedding. Nothing. But I can appreciate, once again, this person's feelings.
On the website, Suzanne from Texas says, but one thing has really stuck out with me. Even years after reading Outlander, Claire expresses her relief that Brother Anselm believes her unbelievable story. He says, "Ma chère, I serve a man who multiplied the loaves and fishes, who healed the sick and raised the dead. Shall I be astonished that the Master of Eternity has brought a young woman through the stones of the earth to do his will?" Great food for thought.
Really is. Man, when he said that, I was like, gosh, you're right. You're right. There are no limits.
Hi, Mary and Blake. This is Pam from Northern California, and it's been a few days since the first airing of To Ransom a Man's Soul, and I've had a chance to watch it about 4 times now.
Wow.
And I know it's super controversial, but I think the very best stuff is when she puts the oil of lavender on him towards the end, and he relates that horrific moment in the cell where he responds to Blackjack, and then she convinces him that it's worth it to stay together. I thought that was all so good, and I don't think they could have gotten my empathy for Jamie and for Claire any better if they had filmed it with less directness, I guess you could say. I don't think they could have done it any better, that last part of the show. As hard as it was to watch, it was fabulous. That's all I have to say. Thanks. You guys are great.
Thank you very much. I think they did a good job. They did a good job within the time constraints that they had, and it was powerful to see Claire go back and forth with Jamie, especially with the lavender oil, knowing that she had to inhabit Blackjack Randall in order to get or elicit a response from Jamie that would get him out of that fog.
Hi, Mary and Blake. My name is Emma. I am originally from the UK, but I'm calling from Vancouver in Canada because that's where I live now. And I just had to ring in this week because I loved this episode so much. It blew me away. Anyway, firstly, I just wanted to say congrats on little Felicity. I'm glad that she arrived safely at last, and she looks absolutely gorgeous. So, this episode, so many emotions, I can't even begin to start talking about them. So I'm going to talk about the whole series as a whole rather than this episode specifically, although I just have to mention that opening shot of the band playing and then heading into the cell with Jamie, and then his face, and then it panning out to see Blackjack. It was genius and beautiful, but harrowing and sickening all at the same time. It was just amazing. I absolutely loved that opening shot in a weird, sick way. It was just awesome. And I know, sorry Blake, I know you love Tobias and Blackjack and Frank, which is all the same now to me in my head, but this episode belongs to Sam Heughan. He was unbelievable, and I can't believe how he has grown over the series. From the first few episodes, I didn't even like his Jamie at the beginning. I thought, oh no, I'm not going to get on board with this, but his last episode was just blew me away. And the whole series, I have absolutely loved it. I'm such an avid book reader, and I absolutely am addicted to the books, but the bits that haven't made it into the show, I don't care because I just love the book so much. The show is so different in my head that I see them as two separate things and appreciate them both so much. And the bits that have been left out, it just makes me love the books more because it's almost like, oh, there's those secret little things that are in the book that never made it to the show. And also, you'd never have met some of the characters had it been exactly the same as the book. So I don't understand the people that keep moaning about this wasn't in the show and they left this out and why did they put this in. I think it's just, they're both great, so I appreciate them both. This last episode, I don't want to give it a kilt rating because I think it deserves a cow rating, so I'm going to give it a 5 cow rating because those cows were so awesome. And it was nice to see Blackjack underneath that door looking not so good. So I just want to thank you both so much for the podcast. I really love listening. I only started listening in the second half of the series, and I can't wait now to go back and listen to your podcast for the first half. And it's really going to help me get through this really long Outlander that we're now going into. So keep up the good work, and thanks for being great. Take care.
But thank you so much, and you got a chance to hear our wonderful daughter cry a little bit there for a moment, and super mom, let's put it that way, came to the rescue and got her to stop crying, which is amazing. And for you, I have to do this sound. This is a new sound that I'm putting into the show. That is the Mario sound for the coins, and that's going to be our new listener sound. I like that a lot. It's kind of like getting a new listener, putting them in the bank. I think that's fun. Why not? We're going to go with it. Anyways, as for the cows, I think the coos were great. I think it was cool how they brought them in there. I thought it was a lot of fun how they brought it in there. And I don't think Blackjack Randall is dead. I really don't. It looks like he may be dead. There was some blood there. And how do you not die when a bunch of coups run you over? But I don't think he's dead. And as for Sam Heughan, he grew a lot this whole season as an actor. And he did a great job. And I got to admit, he really sold me as Jamie this season. And in the beginning of the season, I was kind of like, oh, he's just a pretty boy playing this guy. And he was a lot better than I anticipated him being.
I don't think that it's that Sam got better. It's that Jamie got better.
Good distinction.
Sam's been an incredible actor all this time. He just had to work with what we got from Jamie, who, this young, strapping, fun guy who talks about how chickens aren't good company. So Jamie had a pretty easygoing life before him. And yeah, he was a wanted man, but he didn't have too much going on. And because of that, he couldn't flex his acting muscles. Jamie couldn't really show great depth.
Yeah, because he was just one.
Just this almost flat
one
character.
dimension. Yeah,
when Claire didn't really know him that well. And then through Claire, we got to know the romantic part of Jamie, but still, okay, now we know the cute, witty part of Jamie and the romantic part. But Sam got to shine because Jamie grew.
Mm-hmm, I agree. As for the next thing, we had an email from Raquel. She actually sent us a screenshot of the entire conversation translated in English between Murtaugh and Jamie. Now, I'm not going to go through it here because it'd be crazy and it's a long thing, but I will put it on the website of this particular episode on outlandercast.com. So if you have not seen it yet, it's very powerful and it is very nice, and you'll be able to see it on the website for this particular episode. Now, on the website forum, Kathy, who is a new listener as well, she said, I want to make a comment in response to your not understanding why they did not bring the coups in at night. They knew that all the soldiers would be in front of the prison focused on the opening ceremonies of the day, and that they would be making sufficient noise so they would not hear the coups approach and enter the prison from the rear of the prison. That also left fewer soldiers in the prison guarding the prisoners, thus reducing any chances of them being overpowered by redcoats as they attempted to rescue Jamie.
Oh.
So that does make sense. That does make sense. And the idea that they would not be able to hear the coups, I won't play the sound this time because I'm in the middle of talking, but you're right that those coups walking and running up to the building, it's going to make a lot of noise. I didn't even think about that at night. It could. So there's an argument to be made either way, because if they're sleeping, they would be woken up, but they'd be in bed, or they're already out in the morning playing their fife and drums, so they're kind of already their time is taken up by that.
They're just lucky that he wasn't already dead. That's all I'm saying.
In an email, Suzanne says, in the book, Claire confesses to Brother Anselm after she heals Jamie. In her healing, she had to bring up Frank to help her bring up Blackjack Randall, which pained her as she had tried to put him out of her mind once she decided to not go back. And getting off the email here, this is why I think Frank's not done. And in the rescue, getting away from the prison, she killed a young soldier who was getting away and would have sounded the alarm. She felt really guilty about that. That was not in the show, but could have tied beautifully with Jenny's lesson about love making you do things you didn't know you could do. So she needed to confess her story to a priest, would mean the seal of confession. Was she guilty of murder or adultery? She had been talking to him and found him in a kindred spirit. He is the one who explained the perpetual adoration to her prior, so it fit nicely. Diana had to fight just to get in the chapel scene, so Ron does not seem to be as interested in that side of the story, but it is what she loves. The spirituality, the mysticism, the questions about time, and it only gets deeper as the book progresses, so I wonder how that is going to go. One thing I will say about this entire thing, and Ron, I think Ron is a showrunner that loves certain aspects of what he's writing, which is good. But you're right. I think some stories tend to get left behind a little bit. But I will say this. I wish Claire had killed that soldier in the show. Because then you're right, Suzanne, it would have tied together nicely with what Jenny said in The Search about love makes you do things that you didn't expect. And it would have finally validated the search in some small way. You wouldn't have wasted your time for an entire hour watching the search before this and then realize what the hell happened in the search, right? Nothing happened.
Hi, Marion Blake. This is Jan in Tennessee. I was just listening to your podcast, and I think there was a bit of a mistake with what they showed on the picture cards in the beginning of that episode, To Ransom a Man's Soul. The items there were a Bible, a rosary, and I believe the two other things were one, a bottle for holy water, and the other thing was the chrism, the sacramental oil that they used to anoint the sick and the dying. So I think that's what was in that beginning picture. I don't think it was the lavender oil. It was the sacramental oil, which I think was usually myrrh. Anyhow, just wanted to point that out to you. Thanks.
Well, I like that a lot better than that lavender oil, so I hope that's what that was. I have no idea.
We'll have to go back and check that out.
Hi, Marion Blake. It's Melanie from Canada, and I've been obsessed with Outlander for about 20 years, so I love your podcast. So glad I found it. I just listened to your podcast for the finale and loved pretty much everything you said. Thought Blake especially was spot on, which is good since he hasn't read the books.
My boy's wicked smart.
My one comment was that how come they took so long to get there to rescue him with the cows? In the book, my infamous comment about the wolf scene that they didn't include in the last episode, which obviously they shouldn't have included, but that wolf battle with Claire did take a long time. So that's kind of why it took so long to rescue him. And then when she finally got back to the cabin or the house, it took her quite a long time to convince the owners to help her rescue Jamie. So it did take like most of the night, but you didn't really get that sense from the show because they couldn't show all that time and they didn't put the wolf scene in. But yeah, I think that's why it did take so long. And in the book, you were really like thinking like, come on, hurry up. Like, cause all these terrible things are happening to Jamie all this time that they're not rescuing him. But anyway, I love your podcast. I'm going to keep listening to you all Outlander, and congratulations on the baby. I love the name. Beautiful. Okay, thanks, guys. Bye.
Thank you so much. This idea of the wolf still is coming back up, and I'm so glad that they didn't put it in. It wouldn't have made any sense. It wouldn't have made any sense within the show. She's not Liam Neeson. She doesn't fight wolves. I mean, what are we talking about? I'm still laughing about that. Oh, God. Thank you for the kind words, though, about our show. We really appreciate it. And all the great listeners that we have. We got listeners from Canada. We got listeners from England. We got listeners from Paris.
You guys are all over the place. It makes us excited.
This is amazing.
It makes us excited.
Thank you so much.
Hey, Marion Blake. It's Shakita at Serena6783 on Twitter. Personally, I was impressed with To Ransom a Man's Soul. It's always tricky using rape as a narrative device, but I think it was necessary. I'd rather see what happened to Jamie rather than Jamie just telling the viewers. It was easier for me to experience it when I was viewing it. It was emotional and frightening and beautiful. Sam and Tobias nailed every scene. The scene that stuck out the most was when Jamie was making love to Captain Randall and Jamie's body betrayed him and he had an orgasm. I liked the look on Jamie's face when he realized what happened, and then when Blackjack whispered to him, how could she ever forgive you? That shameful look on Jamie's face was just haunting. I really loved this episode. I didn't think it went too far. I think it was amazing. Congratulations on a new baby, and I'm looking forward to your interviews with Anna Forster. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you so much, Shakita. Yes, the interview with Anna Forster will be coming soon. I think a little bit later on in this with Outlander, and I know we're going to have a great conversation with Anna. I'm really excited about it. And as for everything that played during that scene, it felt like, it comes back to this question of consent. did Jamie have consent with Blackjack Randall?
Well, that brings up a great point, and we had one of our listeners, Cheryl, weighed in. She said that she's a little tidbit on regarding the scenes of Jamie, because Cheryl is actually a mental health therapist who specializes in sexual abuse issues, and many victims and survivors comply with their abuser as a way to survive the abuse. Unfortunately, most survivors and Jamie feel blame for the assault if they don't fight back for every single second. So Jamie also cooperated with the assault by giving himself the brand, but this is not consent either. Cooperation is not Jamie's choice. It's a consequence of the abuse he already experienced. But BGR uses this tactic to convince Jamie that he is an equal partner in the assault since he cooperated. So this episode, she said, was totally real, with BGR's mixture of tenderness and brutality and the resulting psychological damage. So Cheryl weighed in, and it's important to know that. I agree. Just because Jamie wasn't saying no, no, no the entire time doesn't mean
he was saying yes, yes, yes.
Exactly.
Which is a huge difference, I think. Oh, I think Felicity has something to say about this too.
She doesn't like this topic.
And this idea of complying and cooperating is a great distinction. But regardless of the compliance and the cooperation, Blackjack Randall was, in fact, pretty tender with Jamie. And I think it's as a result of that respect and maybe, just maybe, that admiration or sick love for Jamie, because he is indeed really tender. He has that great sentence when he says, "The worst of it is over now, you'll see." And maybe that's just his way of showing Jamie that respect for his cooperation in a way, I'd suppose. On Twitter, Erin G. Hoffman says, "Congrats to Mary on finally having the baby. She joined Twitter just to tweet to us, as a matter of fact, and she cannot wait for our podcast." And for you, Erin Hoffman, I will do this. New listener, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you for joining Twitter just for us. That's amazing. I'm glad that you did that.
Hi, this is Lou. First, congrats on baby Felicity. You two are awesome parents. I am more of the grandparent type, and while I listen and read and like to lurk on social media, I rarely comment. I must make an exception to call you and thank you for your healing podcast. It really is your best one yet. Yes, I was traumatized. Yes, I watched with my eyes closed. Yes, I wanted more Jamie and Claire and less Blackjack. But you both explained the parts that I could not watch, and you gave me a better appreciation for the ick. And also, best of all, your podcast was the way that it ended. Your podcast ending, yes, Blake, with the best scene of the season. That was a great podcast. I was happy to listen to the happiness again. Good luck this summer. I'll be listening Slangeva.
Wow, that just made my day.
I know.
That literally made my day.
I feel like you need to end this podcast with that. That was such a nice little bow.
I can't believe that. Thank you. Wow, I'm like, maybe you can't hear it, but I am smiling as I'm speaking right now.
I heard you smile on the mic. I heard your teeth go.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, sorry. That was not a good mic sound.
No, but I'm happy that we were able to kind of break down such a difficult scene and
help you heal.
Yes.
That was great. And that's what it's for, this podcast. I mean, we're here to make fun of Outlander every once in a while, and we're here to engage with you guys, but we're also here to talk about it. And there are going to be difficult scenes. There are going to be difficult things that happen in Outlander that need to be talked about. And that's what we're all here for. And that's why we engage with you guys so much. And that's why on Outlander, anything can happen. Listeners get their own segments. We have listener feedback episodes and all this stuff. It's for you guys because ultimately we're fans just like you. We just happen to have microphones in front of our faces as we do this.
Hi, Mary. Hi, Blake. This is Kathy. I called a few weeks ago. You might remember. But I've had a hell of a couple of weeks, and I haven't been able to call. But I just wanted to celebrate with you, Blake. I'm going to share this one with you. Our outlandish prediction that there was going to be a pregnancy at the end of this season. So you and me, we got it. You got it the same week I did. So we are awesome. High five. Cheers. Congratulations on your new baby. She's beautiful. And hope to see you again and hear from you next season. Thanks.
Well, thank you so much. That's right. I remember you calling, and I remember you stealing my outlandish theory of the week, so I will not take credit for it. That is entirely yours. And for you, my darling, I will do this.
Bam! Just like that. A winner!
That was for you because you were right. She was indeed pregnant, and that outlandish theory came true. Speaking of outlandish theories, my darling, do you know what time it is?
Yes, it's time for me to look at the computer and get ready to say, interesting. It's Outlandish Theory of the Week time. And this Outlandish Theory of the Week is brought to you by Skin Soap, who specialize in Outlander-themed soaps. Wow! Including the Jamie scent. Yummy. It's not titled Yummy. I just called it Yummy. The Claire scent and the Blackjack Randall scent. Please visit them at www.skinsationshandmadegiftsoap.com/outlandish.html. We will have this link posted on
the website.
On our website.
Well, actually, they have a banner on our website as well, so you'll just see Skin Stations soap, and you'll be able to click it, and it will take you directly to their website. Please visit them. The Jamie scent's actually really cool, by the way. It has like all these different cool like scents and like oak and like all this really cool stuff.
Oh my God, can you put yourself in the Jamie scent?
What are you saying? I ain't good enough?
I would like to smell Jamie. That's all I'm saying. No,
oh my God.
You smell good. But I'm looking at it right now. Musk, pine, leather, wood smoke. Has a splash of Scotch whiskey.
That's amazing. Leather. He smells like leather and pine and wood smoke.
He probably did.
It's like he went camping. It's amazing.
Ew, I don't like the smell of you when you go camping. You smell like meat. I'm really glad that they do not make a Blake scent. A Blake camping scent. I'll clarify. You, when you go camping, you smell like meat.
What about my donut scent?
The maple frosting scent I can handle. Anyway, all right, it's time for your outlandish theory of the week.
Well, I'm not going to make an outlandish theory of the week. I'm not going to do it.
Okay.
I'm actually going to give the floor to one of our listeners who sent us an outlandish theory of the week. And I will tell you, in these emails, I get a lot of outlandish theories, and please send them. I love them. Keep sending them. They're great. But this one is so far out there that it is Blake approved. It's something that I would say. So, from Claire M., she has a couple of outlandish theories. One, Galus is alive. Now, I don't want her to be alive because she was such a wonderful, if mysterious and untrustworthy character, she says, and Lottie Verbeek played her to the hilt. But the last we saw of her were the red shoes, and she was carried off to the pyre. And why do I think she enjoyed having so many hands on her body, by the way? And we did not see her at the pyre, and no mention has been made of her since. I'd have to watch this part of the search again, but when Dougal proposes in his own endearing way to Claire, she brought up Galus, and if she were dead, I think he would have known and said as much. I don't know if she would have been saved from the flames. Dougal springs to mind since Jamie and Ned Gowan were there with him when we last saw them at Castle Leoch, and they somehow found out about Claire being on trial. But maybe she was given a reprieve when she was pregnant, and they didn't feel, right killing the baby too, even if it was indeed the spawn of Satan. Perhaps Ned picked himself up off the floor of the courthouse and argued on behalf of the baby, at least, maybe to delay Galus's execution until after she gave birth. Which could run into her second outlandish theory, which is that Claire and Galus are not the only time travelers in 1743.
Who else?
There are other people. She doesn't know who. And to her, when she says, "Who sent you?" when Galus says that to Claire, it implies that Galus was sent by someone or a group intent on changing history by helping the Jacobites win. She did not accidentally travel to that time period. She came with a purpose. So it seems likely to her that any such group would have sent more than one person back in time to increase their influence. I love this idea. I freaking love the insanity that is going. Thank you, Claire M. I should already just ring the bell right now.
Oh, Felicity agrees. She can't speak, so she said, yeah. So it sounded like, wah.
Wah. Thank you, Claire. I love that outlandish theory of the week. And this is another crazy thing that happens at Outlander Cast. Listeners get their own outlandish theories of the week. But for now, my darling, my love, my sweet wife, my superwoman, super mom, it's time to close out the show. You ready to do it?
Yes, I am. As a reminder, Outlander Cast is brought to you by the Tag You're It Etsy shop. From Outlander-inspired necklaces and rings to custom designs for birthdays or any occasion, every piece is created by Dawn, one letter at a time, and is one of a kind. Please take the time to visit Dawn at www.tagyourit.biz, that's B-I-Z. Tell her Marion Blake sent you and use the coupon code OutlanderCast15 for 15% off your purchase. As always, tag your mama, tag your pet, tag your it, whatever it is.
What do we have coming up next, my darling? You want to know what it is?
Do tell.
It is going to be the Ira Stephen Bear interview, as my daughter chimes in again. She's great, isn't she?
She's sleepy.
She actually does pretty well with these podcasts. Yes, Ira Stephen Bear will be next. We will have that very soon, hopefully within the next few weeks or so, I'd imagine. In the meantime, however, we can always go to OutlanderCast.com, where you will find many things like all of our interviews that we've had and our listener recaps and analysis of each and every episode, as well as my ebook on how to get people, your friends, your family, or maybe your loved ones, the man in your life, on how to watch Outlander. You can find it right there. Click the little icon and boom, it will take you right to my ebook. And 10 easy ways to get a person that you love to watch it. And then you can also find the Marion Blake store there, where we have a lot of cool things like cell phone cases and Sassenach waisted t-shirts and all these great things. And also our Outlander exclusive jewelry line we made in conjunction with Tag You're It. It's amazing stuff.
So amazing. So amazing. Oh, my goodness. Well, check out the website. Stay in touch with us on social media. That's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Our handle is OutlanderCast.
And you want to get us on the email machine at outlandercast@gmail.com. And also support us with Patreon if you want to give $1, $2, $125 billion. We will take it. All in the name of supporting Outlander, Outlander Cast, and inviting more people into the world of Outlander.
Well, everyone, thank you so much for listening to our listener feedback for To Ransom a Man's Soul.
It's all for you guys.
It really is. Stay in touch with us, please. We need it for Droughtlander, or what was the other one called?
With Outlander.
With Outlander. Let's stay in touch, all right? And we'll keep popping out some fun interviews for you. I'm Mary.
My name's Blake.
And you've been listening to Outlander Cast.